Base sa datos ng MMDA, mahigit 400,000 sasakyan ang dumaraan sa EDSA kada araw na sobra-sobra raw sa kapasidad nito.
31 aksidente ang naitala ngayong buwan sa mga concrete barrier na inilagay sa EDSA.
Pinagana isang truck ang mga concrete barrier sa may bahagi ng EDSA Santolan.
Sa Lunes na isasara ang U-turn slot sa EDSA sa tapat ng Trinoma Mall. Nilalatag na mga alternate routes na mga maaapektuhang
Isa pang
motorista.
U-turn slot sa EDSA, isinara ngayong araw na ito para bigyan daan ng EDSA bus.
Kung perwisyo sa mga naiipit sa traffic, itong EDSA busway daw.
Alamin naman natin ang lagay ng trapiko sa bahagi ng EDSA Balintaw.
Bumper to bumper ang nasa 1 kilometrong traffic sa EDSA.
Traffic sa EDSA.
Himala sa EDSA.
Mahaba po ang pila ng mga commuter at mga bus sa mga sakayan ng EDSA busway stations.
Abot tuhod na baha ang usad ng mga sasakyan sa bahagi ng EDSA Quezon Avenue.
Rainy season is near. Occasional rains and thunderstorms are now frequent. One of the problems that our drivers and public transport commuters face is the flash flood, especially on areas and roads prone to it. Like today, we're here along EDSA, and earlier I got a chance to have an interview with one of our commuters. Hello sir, ano pong ginagawa niyo dito sa kahabaan ng EDSA? Lalo na po at maulan. Nag-aantay pa rin po ba kayo ng masasakyan?
Oo, Diyos mio. Kaya na pa ako dito naghihintay ng bus pa uwi. Halos magdadalawang oras na ata ako eh.
Now sir, according po sa team namin ay may flash flood daw doon sa may Quezon Ave.
Saan raw ba? Yan pa sa Mother Ignacia?
Oo sir, wala din pong tigil ang pag-ulan. MMDA advisory na mag-take sila ng reroute.
Ay nako, talagang perwisyo ang pagbaba na eh. Kaya lahat dyan, mukhang magtatagal ata ako rito.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
It's sad to think that our commuters have to experience those.
Yes, and these burdens are happening consistently. What's with our roads nowadays? What plans should we propose?
Sir, before we start planning, I think we should look first on why flash floods in our main roads are happening.
That's a good idea. Does your team prepare something for today?
Yes, sir. And in fact, we also included other road problems that are very frequent and those that you can always hear in the complaints of our commuters and drivers as well.
Okay, let's hear that.
Noted, sir. We in the Road Safety Department ensure that the highways are safe for our motorists and other road users as well. Nicole, what can you add to that?
Well, this is through checking roadworthiness of vehicles, recommending works and infrastructures to eliminate or minimize accidents on the highways. Also, through educating motorists and members of the public on the importance of road discipline.
Very well, so let me start. Flash floods comes in June to November. So the flood-prone areas is Quezon Ave, Corner Araneta, Quezon Ave, Biak na Bato, D. Tuazon, Banawe Quezon Avenue, Espanya, CM Recto, Lagos-Milad Underpass, and Aurora Boulevard near SM. Next. So, flood hazards. Manila is a city characterized by very high densities. Greater Manila is a classic case of excessive concentration of people and economic activity on the small territory of a national capital city. It accounts for 35.7% of the Philippines' economic output, 18% of its population, and 28% of its motor vehicles, and barely 0.2% of the country's land area. The population density of Manila is among the highest of the major metropolitan areas in the world with a comparable land area. It is almost twice as dense as New York City and only surpassed by Mumbai and Dhaka. Metro Manila land area in square meter is 639. The population in millions is 11,855 based on the statistics on 2011. The population per square meter is almost 18.57 or rounding up of 19. Clogged waterways and old drainage system, huge amount of trash to improper waste disposal is caused by the high density of people in Metro Manila. So for the appropriate mitigation is first the drainage system. In this drainage system, we should innovate it to have a trash trap or net. It came from North America Storm XTM. It is engineered to capture gross pollutants and handle powerful stormwater runoff at most urban hotspots. Commercial guide reusable nets provide full capture of gross pollutants as small as 5 millimeters, including organic materials such as leaves, that could reduce the levels of phosphorus and nitrogen in our water. Next is the culverts. Having culvert system can also lessen the flash floods in the roads because of its structure that allows water to flow under a road, railroad, trail, or similar obstruction from one side to the other. Typically embedded so as to be surrounded by soil, a culvert may be made from a pipe, reinforced concrete, or other material. So next one is the flood wall. Flood wall at near rivers and dams, taking into consideration on the height of the flood wall and depth of soil water. Next one is the levee. Any low ridge or earthen embankment built along the edges of stream or river channel to prevent flooding of the adjacent land. Artificial levees are typically needed to control the flow of rivers meandering through broad, flat flood plains. So the last one is the weir. A weir is a small dam built across a river to control the upstream water level. Weirs have been used for ages to control the flow of water in stream, rivers, and the other water bodies. Unlike large dams, which create reservoir, the goal of building a weir across a river isn't to create storage, but only to gain some control over the water level. As you can see in the picture, you can picture out the plans that is made for the flash floods, for the causing of flash floods. So next slide, please. So what should we do? We should identify the flood sources. And next, identify the specific flood hazards. And lastly, select the appropriate mitigation for the flood-prone areas.
Wow, that proposal seems like it's feasible, and I can't wait to start planning that project.
Sure, that can lessen flash floods, but how about road accidents? I think those two are correlational.
That's true, so allow me to discuss that one for you. Here is road accidents. In this presentation, we mainly focus on EDSA as this area is our target. And according to the data of road crashes in the year 2019, 121,771 road accidents with 372 casualties were reported. This hiked down due to the national lockdown because of the global pandemic, with 324 road accidents in EDSA alone. With the starting of our plan, we targeted the area along EDSA Quezon Avenue to EDSA Aurora Boulevard. We spotted the area of Timog Avenue to Camuas Road, Quezon Avenue, and Aurora Boulevard as our accident-prone area. What can these road accidents cause in our highways? Most common is the traffic jam. Road accidents can block the roads and can cause heavy traffic. Next is property destruction. EDSA highways are close to infrastructures and businesses that could be damaged because of road accidents and also road destruction. What should we do? First is requiring wearing of seatbelt. First of all, we must not prioritize only the roads but also the safety of our drivers and commuters. We must require them to wear seatbelt. Though this is already strongly implemented, we notice that some of them are not wearing it still, the reason why casualties are still increasing. Next is assess roads that might cause accidents. We know of the causes of accidents are holes that most motorists are affected. And lastly, frequent orientations of drivers and private vehicles would help lessen road accidents. And here is our suggestion. We should take into consideration implementation of maximum speed of every vehicle. The reason behind this is explained in Newton's second law. The mass of a truck is much greater than a car, which means that the car requires more force to accelerate it at the same amount than a standard car. If you were driving a car 65 mph and a freeway for 40 miles, you will undoubtedly use more gasoline than if you were to drive at the same speed for the same distance in a truck. You may realize that cars with less mass are easier to accelerate because they have less inertia than the cars with bigger mass. And if the mass is greater, then the car will be harder to accelerate. However, some of our truck drivers go beyond their speed limitations, which will cause imbalancing and loss of control and will crash to smaller vehicles, which is a big damage, just like in this picture. So if we will be able to implement the maximum speed of these vehicles, accidents would be avoided. Next is stronger and better lane restrictions. Look at this lane. Buses and cars are in one lane, and also some of the motorists are overtaking these vehicles. In Newton's law of interaction, when a wall hits a wall, the wall will hit the car. When both cars crash, they will experience equal and opposite forces, and they also have identical time of impact, but not with vehicles that have different masses. Because they have different masses, they will experience different changes in velocity or acceleration. And if these vehicles will be aligned thoroughly, collisions might be avoided. And next is requiring seatbelt and airbags. The job of the seatbelt is to hold the passenger in place, so the passenger is almost part of the car, which prevents the passenger from flying forward as the car stops abruptly in case of a collision. And the seatbelt applies the stopping force across a large section of the body so the damage is reduced. And next is airbags. The purpose of airbags is an airbag provides a force over time, and this is known as impulse. The more time the force has to act on the passenger to slow them down, the less damage caused the passenger. And the purpose of an airbag is to help the passenger in the car reduce their speed in collisions without getting injured. Because some accidents are unpredictable and avoidable, we suggested airbags and seatbelt to protect also the drivers and commuters as well. That's all for road accidents. Thank you.
Is that all the causes of road accidents?
No, sir. In fact, there are instances wherein the drivers have no fault at all. Sometimes it's the condition of our road.
Huh? How can that happen?
Well, in our department, we ensure that we take all the angles in finding what causes accidents in the road, and that includes the poor condition of our road. So they say that the common causes of road accidents are drivers who are reckless, distracted, and into speedy driving. But we also need to consider what is the condition of our road. Next slide, please. So I have here the present condition along EDSA, specifically between Quezon Avenue and Aurora Boulevard intersection. So as you can see in the EDSA Hamoning and Timog in Quezon City, you can see that there are potholes in the highway or in the road. And here in the EDSA Quezon Avenue Mother Ignacia, it is low-lying, that it also can trigger flash floods, and it is evidently that there is a crack in the middle of the road. While here in the third picture, as you can see, it may seem okay, but in Aurora Boulevard intersection, there is an even surfaces that the motorists and passengers completely complain, for they keep on falling wherever they riding a tricycle or a motorcycle. Next slide, please. So what poor roads can cause? Of course, number one is road accidents. So these road accidents can trigger because of the condition of our roads. Poor roads isn't just a bumpy ride. Sometimes it leads to serious injuries because of accidents. These potholes, broken concrete, road cracks are very dangerous, and we should do immediate action to resolve it. When a driver with a hits a large hole, it could burst the tire, causing the vehicle to veer into another lane and collide with other vehicles. Also, uneven road surfaces can cause a driver to lose control and crash that would injure the driver himself, the passengers, and other commuters. The next one is the flash floods. As you can see in the picture in the Quezon Avenue, specifically in Mother Ignacia, it is low-lying and the construction is very poor. So it is at risk whenever there is a typhoon or sometimes just a heavy rain, there will be an occurrence of flash floods. And of course, if there's a flash floods and road accidents, there would be traffic congestion or traffic jam. Next slide, please. So what should we do? First is observe the road conditions in our highways. Second is assess what might be the cause of these poor conditions. And lastly, we should work on it, like what we supposed to do. Next slide. But take into consideration the type of road construction that we use or the materials we use. Here in our country, Philippines, we are using a concrete for roadways project. Our main roads such as EDSA, they use concrete work for their roadways project, and this practice often results in a poor ride quality. Next slide, please. Why? Because concrete roads are crucial because they can easily crack considering how high speed and extreme the pressure of the vehicles. And it's time to adapt international practices, and that is the use of asphalt and concrete combination for roadways project. Asphalt costs 20% less than concrete, and it is cheaper when it comes to preventive maintenance. So as you can see, it is best considering its cost, its durability, maintenance, and eco-friendliness. But as you can see in the picture, there is an asphalt binder course, and that is the secret that we need to unveil. It is the use of bitumen as asphalt and concrete binder course. This bitumen, it is the one that holds the asphalt and concrete together. The highway will consist 70% asphalt and concrete, and considering the bitumen, which is also known as the mineral tar, that is obtained through unfinished distillation of crude petroleum that contains 87% carbon, 11% hydrogen, and 2% oxygen, we could conclude that this is 100% recyclable, so it is really eco-friendly. I hope, sir, that you would consider this proposal for our project in the betterment for road construction.
You have mentioned about traffic jams. I think there are also other problems. Why there's always large traffic, especially on our main highways?
I agree. I mean, there should be an explanation on why EDSA is so crowded.
I agree with both of you. In fact, we're all in luck today, for I have done my research on why there is a consistent traffic jams in EDSA, and you'll be surprised that we're one of the reasons behind it.
Really? How come?
Now I will tackle about the increase in number of private vehicles. We can see here the roads that are seen with numerous private vehicles. The EDSA Kamuning Flyover, the EDSA Aurora Boulevard, and the EDSA SM Mega Mall. Next, please. The increase in number of private vehicles causes traffic congestion. What is traffic congestion? It is a state wherein transport is slowed and more vehicles are queuing on a given road. According to the ADB or the Asian Development Blog, congestion happens when the capacity of the transportation network cannot meet the travel demand at a particular time in Metro Manila. Why are we having traffic congestions? Next, please.
There are more cars now than ever before. There are more people who go to the city to work, and many of them are young professionals with plenty of disposable income for purchases such as cars. This is on top of the already sizable number of long-time Metro Manila residents who themselves have cars of their own. Next, please. Bias of cars. Our transport system is car-centric and not mass-oriented. Decision-making for transport and mobility should be anchored on getting people where they need to be. Next slide, please. Through statistics, we can see the Business World graphic last May 2020. It showed that a total average of 367,728 vehicles pass through EDSA daily, composed of 247,527 cars, 69,438 motorcycles, 20,022 taxis, 12,283 buses, 8,830 trucks, 7,229 utility vehicles, and 2,399 various others. Interpolating the graphic's total average divided by 2 directions into the MMDAs per hour per direction would roughly show that EDSA is tight 24 hours a day. So what does traffic congestion cause us? Next, please. According to the World Health Organization, constant traffic congestion also has health and environmental impacts. Exhaust emissions, especially from slow-moving traffic, cause carbon monoxide levels to increase, posing respiratory risk and contributing to climate change. So, what can we do about it? Next, please. Our solution is, given this situation, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, should complete the route rationalization plan for Metro Manila at the soonest time possible. Traffic and transport agencies must fast-track the implementation of mass transit projects with the intention to lower the need of use of private cars. Next, please. Another solution is introduce a congestion charge or road pricing. There is no doubt that road pricing can work. For instance, in Singapore, a network of gates that charge a toll that varies in relation to demand successfully keeps a lead on congestion. Traffic will remain an evergreen problem in the Philippines capital region if these problems are not urgently addressed. The Duterte administration has less than 2 years left before momentum could be lost again in addressing the traffic conundrum. With the pandemic tempering down transport, there is no better time to rethink policies and improve strategies to meet the demands of the Filipino people. That is all for my research.
Very well. I am extremely satisfied with all your presentation, Road Safety Department. I can see that you've thoroughly prepared and researched about this. I can't wait to suggest this to the higher bosses so that we can immediately start the work.
Sir, I was just thinking, if the projects will be approved, I think that will cause a massive traffic jam in the duration of constructing those suggestions. I think the commuters and motorists will be much more mad.
Oh, right. They are the ones who are much more affected here.
We got you, sir. Me and Andrei from the Rerouting Scheme Department have some solutions.
Oh, what a proactive team you are. Alright, let's hear it.
So as I say, we from the Rerouting Scheme Department have some plans, while the Road Safety Department are planning to avoid or reduce the traffic in EDSA.
The causes of traffic in main roads. Roads with poor condition. These are the roads probably with the worst or with poor conditions, especially the Aurora Boulevard intersection, EDSA Cubao Underpass, from D12 to Uy Rodriguez and the Quezon Avenue. As mentioned earlier, they have holes and they are in bad condition as of now. Next. These are the roads with private vehicles because These are near to the workplaces, and these are the well-known commercial centers, especially of the Quezon City, especially from Quezon Avenue, GMA, commoning flyover to EDSA Cubao and Aurora Boulevard. These are the accident-prone areas. They are accident-prone for there are a lot of intersections, and there are also sharp turns and U-turn slots. So these are the roads with it, just like Timog Avenue, Aurora Boulevard, and Quezon Avenue. These are the top alternative routes recommended by Waze and the MMDA itself.
So for the light vehicles, if you are from Shaw Boulevard or Bimapa and you want to avoid traffic in EDSA, you just take a straight forward toward Magsaysay Boulevard, then Santol Street. Right at Palansa, Landargun or Bayani Road, left at G. Araneta Avenue to destination, and vice versa. So this illustration shows the direction which you will gonna take if you are going to avoid the traffic in EDSA. Next slide, please. So vehicles coming from Cubao toward the Manila area along Aurora Boulevard make a right at Gurayan Street, left at Palansa, left at Thomas Argiles Street or Santol Street to Magsaysay Boulevard to destination. Next slide, please. And for the vehicles coming from Endomingo Street and Blumen Street, take F. Ramon, H. Losada, and J. Ruiz Street. Vehicles coming from north along C3, Sergeant Subera, make a right at Bayani Road, Ladargun, and Palans Street. Left at Santol Street, left at Magsaysay Boulevard, and take Bimapa. Old Santa Mesa to destination. So that's it for the light vehicles. If you wanna avoid traffic in EDSA.
So next will be the for trucks. So if you are from Quezon Avenue, go straight towards Espanya Boulevard, left at Lacson Avenue, straight towards Nagtahan to destination, and vice versa. If you are from Magsaysay Boulevard, make a right at Vimapa to Shaw Boulevard to destination, and vice versa. These are top recommended routes. So as of what I mentioned earlier, if you are from Rodriguez Avenue, you can exit at Nagtanhan Street to avoid EDSA. Next, please. And if you are from Magsaysay Boulevard and you want to avoid EDSA, you could, as I have mentioned earlier, the directions, you can exit at Shaw Boulevard to avoid EDSA again. Thank you.
Wow! This looks really planned out. I think we are really ready to propose it to the higher bosses. What do you think, sir?
I couldn't agree more. We all care to the welfare of our public commuters. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't continue this. It's a job well done. Give yourself a pat for doing a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Very well. I think that's all for today. Have some rest and email me your write-up for your proposed projects. Clear?
Clear,
Crystal,
sir.
sir. Sir.
Noted, sir.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, sir. Have a nice